Well, folks, what is happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by our sponsor,
number one.
our Kings, Mark Weir, again, fucking legend. So, brother, again, thanks very much for coming up here. It's an absolute. The previous guests who were on there about an hour and a half ago, Dara, the DJ, and Rory Hill, the Clinville captain, they were fucking fuming at the distance.
Seriously.
A lot of people, like, I only sent it 2 days out before, so people can, they can't really go. So I think if I said to a few people where it is, they'll probably go now, because Tyrone and Tommy were on their way up.
Seriously.
When they only saw where it was. So I think Tommy picked up Tyrone, and then they typed in the address, and then Tyrone like sent me a voice message just saying, "Here, man, like we're going to be lit because we didn't know where it was."
I thought it was in Belfast. Bring it out.
Yeah, it's what has to happen, bro.
100%. It's a good spot though.
Man,
it is a good spot. It is a good spot.
Like saying you look here and you go to yourself, and here's in a container.
I know. You don't think it. You definitely don't think this is in a container. Like, I thought this was in Belfast as well. Like I thought it was like a studio somewhere in Belfast.
Everyone does. We used to do it in the Antrim Road.
Right.
And then ended up just fucking see we came out here. It's it's a great spot as well. So, brother, can you just take me back to the very start of your journey? Where you're from, what you were like as a young person, and what your upbringing was like?
Yeah, man, I'm from. This is what we were talking about. This I'm originally from Belfast, but my family they moved up. So my nanny and granddad retired up in Ballycastle, and my family they then just sort of followed. We were spending most summers and most weekends in Ballycastle, and my man and dad just followed them up. So, and that's why, like, I sell a lot of tickets in Ballycastle. So when I'm fighting, the guy he announces, like, if the ring announcer will announce Ballycastle because I sell majority of my tickets there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But mate, and then I was boxing when I was in Belfast. So I was. And then
Where are you from in Belfast?
West Belfast, Claremore, right. And I was boxing in Belfast, and then I'd moved up to Ballycastle, but there was no boxing club in Ballycastle. There was a boxing club a few miles away from Ballycastle, and it sort of went there on and off, but it was only on 2 nights a week. So you go from training 5 nights a week to then 2 nights a week, and I would say that the quality in Belfast is a lot better than the clubs that were around at the time
Especially
up there.
West Belfast.
Friggin' you can't
Fighters
go
in every area.
I know, like 3 miles. You can't go 3 miles without a boxing club, really. Like, and so I sort of, when I moved up there. Up there's very, like, it's hurling orientated, so it was very hard for me to sort of, like, box, do you know what I mean? Because the club was 30 mile away, do you know what I mean? So it was getting a drive there. You couldn't just walk down to the club. So there was a few years, I'd say for 3 or 4 years, where it was just sort of like, just coasting. I was boxing, but I wasn't really fighting or anything.
Would you have been out doing your own stuff in your own time, like you're running and doing speed sessions and stuff like that?
Yeah,
there?
you know what, I got into CrossFit. There was a CrossFit gym. So I was basically, like, I was doing my boxing when I couldn't, and I was doing CrossFit. And it was good. Like, CrossFit was big at that stage, you know what I mean? So I was doing that, and then obviously I was going through school. I left school and I moved back to Belfast, purposely just to box. I actually joined the Belfast Met Boxing Academy.
Unreal. What's the facilities like in there? Because, like, I remember going, and a few of my mates have done the football academy, and I know, like, you used to see them in the tracksuits and all, and used to go, wankers. Was the boxing like the same?
Mate, the boxing, do you want me to tell you something? Like, I had went from really having no coaching to then into that setup, and, like, you were around, like, Olympian, like, Aidan Walsh was there, friggin' there was loads of very, very good boxers. So I was coming from a place where there was really none of that to then, it went from 0 to 100 really. And you had great coaches. You had Martin Lindsay. He was a good pro. He was what, friggin' British champion, IBF World Youth Champion. And then you had Jerry Story. Like, sure, we all know Jerry Story. So you were going from really nothing to everything.
The wealth of knowledge as well, especially with Jerry Story.
That's it.
You can't buy stuff like that.
And they were given opportunities. Like, I wasn't really given. When I was in Ballycastle, there was no opportunities for me. When I was going there, then you were getting all the opportunities to fight. So, sort of my sort of amateur career didn't really start until I got there.
What age were you at this stage?
So I was 18.
18. Would you have done, just growing up, would you have went out much in Ballycastle in terms of, like, say, the drinking culture, anything like that there, or were you just always kind of into fitness?
I was one of them maniacs. Everybody was out and I was running the roads at friggin' 12 a.m. People were coming out of the bars and going, he's a nutcase. Do you know what I mean? I was the nutcase, but no, I'm not a big drinker, mate. Not a big drinker, and and again, Ballycastle has a big drinking culture, with sort of with the hurling and stuff. And now I didn't really get into it. I went out and had friends and stuff, but I didn't drink just because I was sort of on that thing of it. Sort of knew at a young age because I was in school and I was decent in school, but I sort of always knew I wanted to box and box full time, and that's why I took the jump at moving back to Belfast, because the boxing academy was essentially full time. You know, you were training Monday to Friday in the morning, and then you were going in and you were getting your qualifications as well. I got
what qualifications do you come out with?
I got my level 2 and level 3 PT, and then they went and I'd done like a HND sort of thing. So, and that was all for free.
Yeah, here 100%. And
you know what I mean?
Are you paid? Like while you're in tech, or
so there was different schemes. Like there was like it wasn't EMA, but it was like an education allowance thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was, and then you were given there was something else. Can't remember the name of it, but you were paid through like programs that the Met have. So it was good. Like it was from literally, as I said, going from nothing to everything. Do you know what I mean? And I learned a lot. Like even the people that was around, like Aidan Waltz and stuff, like the experience that they had over me at that stage was massive. And you're learning wee things, going away on trips with them, and even being around coaching.
Was it hard to catch up to the standard that they were at?
No, mate, because I was all in. Do you know, even when the first 3 months, like I knew I was behind. So the 3 months of the boxing academy, like I was training in the morning, and then we had a gym. We had like a gym class, like we had to go and do our PT at like 1 o'clock, but we trained from 9 to 10:30, and then I was actually training again after that, and then going to class, and then going and training in the Mac after. So I knew I had to catch up, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Did you have your own boxing facilities in Belfast Met, or was it a different club?
So it was Rooney's gym. It was just literally around the corner. I think it was called. It was the old Rooney's boxing gym. It was like a charity sort of thing then. It was a good gym, but there was no actual like boxing facility in the Belfast Met.
In there.
Yeah.
I'd say like say especially going training full time. Would you have been educated in nutrition and stuff like that there through the likes of your level 3? And do you think that has been much of a benefit to you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like big time. Like a lot of the stuff that I learned even through my PT and stuff, like you sort of can use now on yourself. You give a good sort of baseline of what to do when you're in camp. Do you know what I mean? But when I'm in camp, I definitely still get people in to do all that. So it's sort of like a thing that you don't have to worry about.
And what weight were you fighting at you think?
Mate, I boxed. I was heavy. Like I've boxed at 69, 70. 66, 63, 60, 57. Now I'm a super bantamweight at 55.3.
What do you prefer?
Well, do you know what the thing was? See, back then, like I was just like taking opportunity. So if I was sitting around 66 and there was a fight at 69, I was like, forget, I'll do 69. You know, and then, but I sort of caught on myself that I was sitting too heavy.
Aye.
And towards the end, like I was like starting to take my weight and stuff down. My last amateur fight was at 57 kilo. And that sort of opened my eyes up. I was like, why the hell am I boxing at 69 when I can make 57? Do you know what I mean?
Have you always found it easy to cut weight or even put on weight to get up to that?
It wasn't. Do you know what it was? It was like even when you were fighting at 69, you were maybe coming at 68 kilo. Do you know what I mean? You were going away on a trip, or you were fighting somebody, and sometimes there wasn't even a weigh-in. Do you know what I mean? But you were just taking the fight. Do you know what I mean? But towards the end of my amateur career, it was like it sort of dropped down to 63, and then it dropped to 60, and then it was like 57, and I was like, no, I can definitely and I was always, I didn't feel like there was guys I was getting in with, and I was like, frick, these guys are massive. I'm tiny. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Compared to these guys, and they were like, and that's what I'm saying. It was a good thing as well, because I was fighting grown men. I remember we went to Jersey, mate, and you want to see. Do you know one of them? Like when you're a boxer, you're sort of at the way and looking who you're fighting. And you see him, and I'm going, you're going, he's not my weight, I'm not fighting him. And then you turn around, you get in the ring, and he's standing in front of you, you go, frig, yes. Like he was like 25, 26 at the time.
And you were 18, were you?
Aye, but at the same time, but you just, you take the opportunities, and because I hadn't as much experience, and I wasn't in a great setup, I just had to catch up, so I just took everything.
It was big John Mulhern.
John Mulhern's a man.
I done my level 2 and level 3 in Belfast Met in 2000, may have been 2016, or actually no, 2014 it was, fucking over 10 years ago. But I ended up getting a full-time job in JD around Christmas time. So when you're making a full-time wage when you're 18 and you're like, do I want to, can go partying, I'm getting a full-time wage, or can go back to fucking tech. I just packed it all in. But I remember John, because I have him on Facebook, and he always has all the boxing stuff. And see, do you know Nell Clinton?
And I know Niall Clinton well.
Niall
He's mad Niall icon.
He is insane.
He was in the boxing academy when I was there. How do you know?
He was in my class in tech for PTing. Mad class. He's doorman as well. See, anytime I see him on the door.
I was with. So do you know what you said? I was actually with John and Niall. John had a boxing show for the Met, the 10th anniversary there, and I was there as like me and Niall were there as like a guest. There was Aidan and stuff was there.
I think I seen the photo. I seen the photo of Niall and the Aidan in it as well.
Yeah. So I was only 2-3 weeks ago, but now I met John does a lot. Like I don't think John gets enough thanks for the stuff he does for the actual for the students. You know, John obviously he was the sort of main man that he started the boxing academy, but the support he gives the people that go into it, like he doesn't get enough thanks. Like he's very, very good, and that's what I'm saying. Like if he hadn't started the boxing academy, I don't know if I'd be boxing now. Like really, like that's the long and short of it. You know, because him starting that gave me an opportunity that I could go in and catch up and do something. And like, if he hadn't done it, I don't know where I'd be. Like,
do you ever get asked to go back into the Belfast Met, or do they ever get the likes of Aidan Watts and stuff to come back in?
They do. Well, we were all back there. We were doing that show. We were giving out medals at that show. And you know, I think even in the course has developed a bit where I think it's now like I think it's more of a vocational. You can do your PT, but there's like a vocational side of it as well, which I think a few of the lads have been asked to go back and do like talks or whatever. So now it's a great course. Like
imagine sitting there on a Thursday afternoon or something, and Niall Clinton comes in to give you a lecture.
I know. You know you're here. You know you're down and out whenever Niall Clinton's coming in to talk to you.
He is one of the maddest characters I've met in my journey, just in life.
Like in life. Now, I actually, me and Niall, no, it's mad. Me and Niall actually got a job together in the Europa. And you know what the thing was? So we applied. So he forced me to apply for this job. I had a bit of bar experience, and he didn't, right? But he applied for a barman. So we ended up both getting the job. See, the first night we went in for the induction and sat down. They were like, right, you are going to be in the bar. Niall doesn't know how to pull a pint. So I had to teach him in about 5 minutes how to pull a pint. And here to fur, he did it.
He did it.
So I taught now. He went for a bar job and didn't even know how to put a pint, and he got it. He's mad. Man,
he's one of them people you can throw in anywhere in the world. I think he went to Cuba.
He did.
He went to Cuba there a few years ago. You could put him anywhere in the world.
He'd
make mates.
He'd fit in. Do you know what it is? I think he's a good energy about him.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you sort of go, he's mad because he looks like he'd kill you, and then he talks and you go, he doesn't match the person, and I think people get it. He has a good energy about him. Yeah. But Niall's a good man. Niall's one of my good mates. Like Niall would be one of my good mates. See,
when you moved back to Belfast, like, did you stay by yourself or were you in with your family?
I actually live with my aunt up in Mount Eagles. I lived up there for about 6 or 7 months, and then I went out on my own. So I did. So like it was just like that got me on my feet. So it did. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it was good at that stage because. But before actually, at that stage I remember saying the bus from Mount Eagles to town was like 50 minutes. And I was like, I could probably travel from Ballycastle. The friggin' length of this bus, it's only an hour. The bus from Ballycastle is an hour. The bus from Mount Eagles at that time in the morning, like 8 a.m. when it's rush hour, it was like 50 minutes. It's like friggin' I could just travel from Ballycastle.
See, now because I see you're doing shows in Ballycastle yourself.
Yeah.
Are you still living up there now, or are you in Belfast?
So I was in Dublin for a good while there, and I was down there training with Pete and Emma Vandy, and then I'm in Sheffield. So I am. Yeah. So I live with Mick in Sheffield. So I would see I have a boxing club in Ballycastle and a gym, but I don't really need to be there because it's a good system. People are there, and with coaches and all there working. So. I just, when I'm in Ballycastle, I'm just sort of coming and going. I just stay in my mum and dad's house.
How did you start up like your own gym? Because like again, especially at a young age, it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of finances in it. A lot of stuff in the background that people don't see. But for yourself, what was your experience like starting your own business? Yeah, well, that actually. So what happened was I was a part of a gym, and that was about. So I was PTing at the time. And obviously when I went back to Ballycastle, COVID had hit, and I had my PT qualification through the mat. So I started PTing in a gym called NMK. And is that where your missus works, Megan? You listening to Burnsy, are you? No, she did. She worked in that gym, so she did. Here, Burnsy's mad. Burnsy's mad. Do you know what? I don't know where he got that from either. I don't know where he got that from. He actually has told a lot of people that now. But Megan is not my missus. She's on this fuck as well. She was on this year. Oh, was she on this? She was on this. January, I think she was.
Frick, I didn't even know she was on this.
She was on this.
No, she is. Megan's sound. But no, so she worked in the gym with us, but we had worked in a gym in MK, and I got loads of experience there. And then the owner had passed away, so I had went out then on my own. But again, like that period from like 2020 to 2023, I'd learned a lot, you know, like being on the gym floor. Because it's one thing getting your PT qualification, but then it's putting it into play. So I was busy, mate. Like, see, before I turned pro, I had nearly like 100 and 120 clients. I was flat out.
And is that online clients or is that there?
I was in person.
In person?
Mm-hmm. Like, because, you know what? I actually there was no PTs in Ballycastle, and then I went and got my S&C. And there was no S&C coaches, and Ballycastle is predominantly hurling. So I was getting all the hurlers for S&C. So I sort of found like a niche, although like there was no PTs really, I'd sort of had the niche for the S&C. Yeah. So I was busy, mate. I was really busy. And on the side then, in that gym, I had the boxing club in the gym as well. But then when he had passed away, I'd moved on and started my own thing. And so I have my own premises and all, and it's good, mate. Like I started it because... Like, I was in the position, when I was in Ballycastle and I was young, if you didn't play hurling, you didn't really do anything. Because there's nothing really else. So, it's good, mate. We have about 80 boxers up there, all in.
Fuck yeah, that's
so, that's 80 kids that essentially, if they weren't boxing with us, what would they be doing? Do you know what I mean? They'd be on the streets or whatever. And
there's like Ballycastle's not a very large space, large area, so I'd say
there's not much to do.
Aye, 100%. Like there's not much to do, and it's a beautiful place too as well. See that beach?
It is nice. It is nice.
Like on a nice day, it's phenomenal. But see, like with the PT, and I've got my level 3. Like I went back to do it there. I've got my level 3 assessment here tomorrow.
Yeah.
See, PT and coaching, is there actually that much money to be made on it?
Yeah. Like again, I had a good sort of niche, and I had a good market. Whereas I was in Ballycastle, there was nobody else doing it. There was literally no one else. And then when I went and got the S&C, like that just put me. And then again, I was a boxer, so I could do the 1-to-1s and stuff with boxing as well. So I was completely. There was nobody else. Never mind even PTing, but doing 1-to-1 boxing sessions and then S&C. So mate, I was flat out. Like, see, and when I'd say my prime was 2021 to 2022, and it was actually very hard for me to walk away from it and go into pro because of there was that's money I was making. And that's what I'm saying. But I think if you're gonna get into PTing, like I think PTing's very like cookie cutter.
Competitive,
like it's very competitive, but like I feel everybody does the same thing. Like they're all sort of like. Especially now that I've been out of it, like I see like everybody's doing the same. Like everybody's nihilist. They're trying to become like a personality on social media and like bring you in. But I actually agree. Like I remember me and Sean McComb spoke about this. But you see somebody's video and they're very, very bubbly, and then you go and meet them and you go to train them and they're not that person.
Yeah.
And you go, this is like I signed up for the person I've seen in the video, and then you go into the gym and they can't speak 2 words to you. So I think definitely, like, if you're going to be a PT, finding your niche, which I had a good niche, and then knowing what your client base is. If you know them 2 things, mate, it doesn't take long for you to get started up. And like, to be honest, like I remember when I first started, mate, like, and again, like the reality of it was I was taking like 3 or 4 clients for free just to get my name out there. Like, and then like they tell people and then that moves on, and then like I was given free, and then I was doing a 6 a.m. class. I was doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m.s, and like to start, I was getting people in it. They were busy. I had like friggin' like 30, 40 people signed up to them. But what I was doing every Christmas was each of them person, I was giving them a voucher for like a free 4-week voucher for them as to give to a friend to bring.
Right.
So they were getting it for Christmas, and they were going, there's a Christmas present. And they were giving it to someone.
That's a really good idea. That's good marketing.
And then them people, most of them people were staying. So nah, mate, it was good. I think it's very like if you're a good personal trainer, you'll always have clients.
Yeah.
Do you know? And then I think people try and dress it up with the whole social media aspect. And social media is good. Like, don't get me wrong, but if you're a good coach, you'll get clients.
100%. It's results based.
That's what it is.
Like one person which I think of is, do you know Ryan McVicker?
Yeah, he's flat out.
Like Ryan McVicker, he's not out on social media with his videos and stuff like that, but his results speak for themselves.
He just puts results out. He doesn't even put his face in front of a camera. It's just results.
And I'd say he is making
100% he is.
Like, I was in there the other day with John and stuff. They got there, like speaking to John about coming on this.
Yeah.
And see just the setup they have there. Like it seems like a good environment. Like no real fucking dicks and stuff like that. Which is, I'd say, probably in the personal training game is kind of.
That's half a battle too. Like we had a good gym. Like we did have we had a good gym. There was good people in the gym, and that's what I'm saying. It's sort of, it becomes. When you're like, mate, the hours I was doing in there at one stage, like I was there 6 a.m. to sometimes 9 p.m. at night. Like when you start doing them sort of hours, it has to become your second home, and you have to want to go to it. And that's what I'm saying. The gym we had, and it was a good environment. Do you know what I mean? And I enjoyed going, and everybody else enjoyed being there, even the members. So I think that's another, as you sort of touched on there, you have to want to be in the gym.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%. See your amateur career. Did you only start that when you were 18 then?
So I'd had a good few. I'd had fights and exhibitions before that, but I would say like my amateur career only really started when I was 18. I'd had maybe 10, 11 fights up until that, but they were all like exhibitions. They weren't really carded fights, as you would say. But
white collar kind of.
No, they were amateur. There were no white collar. They were amateur, but they were just on shows where like there was a club coming. And you were just like, right, you fight him, club show, you fight him, and you were just through in, do you know what I mean, sort of way.
And how did you fare when you actually went into the amateur game? Because I would say, going into the amateur game at 18, some of these lads have been boxing since they were 11, 12, maybe earlier. Yeah. How did you adapt?
No, but it was good, mate. Again, like that's what I say, is I just took every opportunity that came to me just because I knew I was behind, and I had to catch up. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, like, there was, like, I had a lot of trips away with a lot of people that had a lot more experience, and I learned a lot. And then just before COVID, I won a national title. So that sort of put that once COVID had hit, like that put everything had ended. Yeah. And then it was a few years. So COVID had hit, and then obviously there was no amateur boxing. The pros was still going on, and then I entered the Ulsters after that and got a walkover. Nobody entered. So I was like, what's the point? And I'd been training with D. Waltz at the time. And he was pro, like he had a good setup in Glam with his amateurs, but I wasn't actually training with the amateurs, I was training with the pros, and that was sort of like my sort of like zigzag into, I says, frig, I'll go pro.
So did you get to go down to the development centre? Because you got the ulcers, no?
No. Sure, I was, at that stage, it was still COVID.
You know what
I mean?
And then you end up, so see just in general, how was just an overview of your amateur career? Like how many fights did you have, and how do you think it went?
All in, I'd say I'd had about 30, 35 fights all in.
That's a lot of fights from 18, say, to, what, 24?
All in. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, like, I was, at a stage in my amateur career, like, I was just taking fights willy-nilly. Like, I wasn't, like, the fact that I fight 55 kilo now, and I was taking fights at 69.
Yeah.
That's mad. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's something I had to do because I hadn't the experience. Just obviously being down in somewhere that wasn't as sort of efficient in coaching boxers. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, no, my amateur career was decent, mate. Do you know, it was not I wasn't a superstar or anything. Do you know what I mean? But it definitely, and then even training with D at the time, like I think when you turn pro. I had about 3 years training with D, 2 years before I even turned pro. So I sort of got a lot of experience training alongside pros and picked up a lot of things and how they were training and stuff. So that definitely stood by me when I turned pro.
Would you say D was the one that kind of influenced you at the start of your career, or was there any mentors there that guided you?
That sort of setup definitely did. Like I was there, like at the time there was me, Connor Quinn, Lewis Crocker was there, Big Potty was there. It was a good, like at that stage, and at that stage they were all smashing it. So there was good people in the gym to like sort of advise you and stuff, and D as well. Like D's quite experienced for all the age of him. Really, you know, he's done a lot in the sport for only being what, like 34, 35.
Be Connor Quinn's class as well. Love.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So
I was around again, same sort of thing. I was around a lot of people that had experience in the pros, and then I'd turned pro in. It was 2020. I'd started to sort of get like talk about going pro in like January 2022, but then, you know, it took a long time because I was still sort of turning pro. Like I was still sort of hemming and hawing because my PT business was doing so well and the gym was doing so well.
It's hard to turn away the kind of money when you're getting offered.
Because even when I had turned pro, I was sort of still like half in, half out with PTing. But I couldn't do it. Like I had this scrap once I turned pro. I had to scrap my classes and all because they were taking up a lot of time. And then I was sort of picking and choosing who I worked with in the PT side. But your money just, like, you see, like, I literally within a month, like, I made a change, and within a month, like, your money changes like that. And I was like, right, well, I'm sort of committed to this now, like, do you know what I mean? So now, and then I had my pro debut in October 2022 in Manchester. On my manager at the time show, Kevin Murray. He's a brilliant manager actually. He managed Carl Frampton for his first 6 fights. So same with him. Had my first fight in Manchester over there, and it was actually mental because I went there and I fought the same night Paddy won the IBO World Title. So I went there on my own. D was with Paddy, you see.
So you had no one in your...
I had no one. So Kevin ended up doing my corner. So I flew there on my own. Made weight my own. Now, I sold a good few tickets for it, like people coming over. But they only come over on the fight day. But I went there on like the Wednesday. Made weight, weighed in, was on my own. And then obviously everybody started coming on the fight day. And Kevin, my manager at the time, done my corner. But that was a mad feeling. It was an Oldham leisure centre, mate. And Oldham's rough. Like I remember going to the fight on my own. I remember driving through this place and going, holy shit.
Was it worse than Gertwood?
Mate. I was dropped outside. It was like gang culture. It was mental. Like I was like, what am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here? And then, see, the guy that I fought was coming off 2 knockout wins against 2 debutants. So I was like, fuck, like this could be a start. It was just mad. Like it was a mad feeling because I hadn't, when I fought my pro debut, I hadn't fought from before COVID. Because I'd entered the ulcers and got a walkover. So it was just mental. Like, it was like, I was going, is this really happening? Because I went to the fight on my own, sitting in the changing rooms on my own. He was obviously running the show, so he was all over the place. He got the cut girl to do my cuts. She was sort of with me, we were talking, and then he came in, just done a bit of pads, and then I was in the ring.
Fuck, fair play to him for actually jumping in and doing that there. If you love the thrill of winning big, then you need to check out Our Kings Competitions, the UK and Ireland's top spot for incredible praise competitions. They're giving you the chance to win luxury cars, dream holidays, top tech, and even life-changing cash prizes, all for a fraction of the cost. And what's the best part of this? Entering is super easy, so you just need to go on, select your competition, grab your tickets, and then you're in for a shot at winning big. With guaranteed winners in every draw and some of the most amazing prizes out there, Our Kings is the place to be if you want to turn a little into a lot. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to www.ourkingscompetitions.com now and grab your tickets, and you could be our next big winner. That's Our Kings Competitions, where dreams become reality, and enter today. Would Dean not have been able to have jumped in with you? Or?
No, sure, he was in Germany with Paddy.
Oh, fuck, I know what they're... Yes.
So it was the same night. So I flew over on the Thursday. They were flying to, I think, Germany, because Paddy fought in Germany, you see. So he flew with Paddy on, like, the Thursday,
Frankfurt,
too.
was it?
Frankfurt, So it was just mental. Like, I actually remember D ringing me before we went into the ring. And then after I got out, and there was like 20 missed calls on my phone from D and Connor Quinn. They were obviously going, is he fucking won?
Yeah.
Because they must have thought maybe I was like I hadn't been on my phone, and they were like, they were worried. But once I told them, they were all right. And then Paddy done the business. But
how did the fight go in general?
It was mad, mate. It was mad. You know why? Because I understand why that fella had a few stoppages against debutants. Because obviously I was under the influence that pro slower. And, you know, amateurs it's just like a sprint. High pace, flat out. And, mate, he just came out running at me, swinging. There was no feeling out. He was throwing 4s, 5s, 6-punch combinations from the first bell. It shocked me, but it didn't sit with me. I just was like, right, well, I know I need a box.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, anybody that wouldn't have been able to change what they were doing, like, and then they would have got stopped. Like if you had stood with your wee man, like easy, and even still, he still fights now. His nickname's Livewire. At that stage he was like, I think even at his weight, mate. I remember looking, because Kevin had sent me his box rack, and at that stage, mate, he was like ranked number 9 a bantamweight in the UK. And I was like, fuck me, what is going on? But it was, I think it was the way the points work, because he was coming off 2 stoppage wins.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, it was just mad, and he run at me. And then it was just like a shock. But then it didn't really, once I sort of get over and once I sort of sussed out what I had to do, I just boxed.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from that? To see just the entire experience of going over yourself, the fight itself, and even the aftermath as well, and if you went down celebrated or just chilled down back to the gym, what's the biggest lesson?
Trust myself. Be able to do, because it was like it was mad, because you think you need to have a team to do this and do that, and I was doing everything on my own, and I was fucking going like, if I can do this on my own, what's it going to be like when I have my team here at a fight week? Do you know what I mean? So, and it was mad, because you're in the hotel on your own. Like and you're having to use your initiative, go, right, I have to go and do this to make weight, and again PT and help with that.
Yeah.
Do you know, like having a general knowledge of what to do to make weight and stuff, and like I made weight my own and stuff. It was good. It was character building, like, and again, it's more because obviously I was coming in with very limited experience, so it's all experience, like, do you know what I mean? To say you've been through that and you know what to do.
What's your meal after you weigh in to go refuel yourself and get hydrated?
Nando's.
Everyone loves Nando's.
Nando's. See, to be honest, like, I've moved on a bit. I've worked with some good coaches, and like George Lockhart, he done my last weight cut and stuff. He was in my last camp, and I learned a lot from him, like, about what to do, like sort of tricks and stuff you can do. Like, because usually I would just weigh in, knock water, and go and eat Nando's, whereas it has to be structured. So
you can't just go all heavy at the very start.
You can't. So we working along with him. He's been good, like, and he's sort of like, I've learned a good few things off him that I can take into obviously my next camp.
So you ended up, I think, from what I can remember, just looking at your boxing record, is you fought like 4 times in 10 months.
Aye.
From then, because you went to the Fela as well.
Yeah.
You fought in the Fela. So see, just being a lad from West Belfast and then going and fighting in front of your people in West Belfast, what was that experience like?
It was mad, mate, because 2 years, a year actually before that, 2 years before that, I was sitting in the crowd watching Paddy and Mick. Do you know what I mean? And at that stage, I was 2021. At that stage, there was never a thought in my head of even being pro. Like, really, like, that was sort of still sort of out of the reach for me. So it was just like, I think the whole time, I still sort of like have like pinch me moments. I'd be like, is this actually happening to me? Like, even the SSE and all too. Like, I went there as a kid, and even with the Fela, it was the same. Like, is this happening? Like, is this real? Like, it's a, you're not thinking of it obviously getting into the fight, but even around the fight week and the fight day, and then it's always after the fight, you go, fuck, did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, is that me? Do you know what I mean? It's mad, and that was that. Like, as I'm saying, like, I would say I've probably fought I've fought in the Ulster Hall, I've fought in the SSE, and I've fought in the Fela. That's the 3 biggest platforms a Belfast fighter can fight on, and I've done it before 6-7 fights.
What's the Ulster Hall? Like, compared to the SSE, just because it's the crowds on you, it's small, compact. You got the 2 tiers. I'd say it's. The SSE is obviously the SSE, but the Ulster Hall is fucking it's like iconic.
Yeah.
It's an iconic location.
It's different. Do you know what? It like when people say everything's on top of you, it is. Because I remember actually when I was boxing, when I was looking at your man, I could see people like literally just above his head. Because the way the gallery comes down and the rings raised, it was just mad. But
you can see their eyes probably. As
well.
Mate,
you can see them like sitting over looking at you, and you're going, "What the hell?" And then you sort of look up, and mate, people are. It's literally they're on top of you. It's a great venue, like
unreal.
I'd say to be honest, you can't beat the SSE. You can't beat the SSE. Like, the SSE's mad.
Well, obviously, I don't think it's announced yet where you're going to be like boxing next and stuff like that there as well. But if it's the venue which I'm thinking of because it's the location, is it there's only one venue in that location? Yeah, which you, how do you think you're going to deal? Because it's a big venue as well. It
is. No, do you know what, mate? I don't think it'll be as bad because it's not in my hometown.
Yeah.
Like the Belfast, and any fighter says it. Like, even like the Belfast fight weeks are different. Like, because everybody's so educated in boxing, and boxing's so big here. Like, it's like I feel like everybody's on top of you when you fight in Belfast. Whereas I think down there, obviously, I'm not from Dublin, so I think it'll be a wee bit more relaxed. Obviously, it's still a big occasion, but. It'll be a bit more relaxed in Belfast. There's pressure fighting in your hometown. Like,
see even just the build up of that last fight there. So before we kick into that, there we'll go into just the draw you had. with Farrell. See, just the kind of beef. Like, are you two mates, or is it actual?
Do you know what? Listen, we're fighters. Like, with fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, and every boxer says it, like, you don't get into the ring with somebody and knock the shit out of each other and not have respect at the end of it. And I don't know what it is about boxing. I really don't know what it is. I think it's, you're having, you sort of, I think as well, you understand the dangers of it too. Like, and you're getting in, you're beating each other up. You sort of see what each other like physically have. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in there and you feel it, and yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if it was announced tomorrow that me and him were fighting, we'd hate each other. You know what I mean? It's just the way we both are. But no, like, I would, I respect Rudy. Obviously from the fights and the stuff we had. And when we're not fighting, we're mates. When we're fighting, we fucking hate each other.
I love to see that press conference. The last one
mad.
When you called him a maniac.
No, that was mad. Do you know what the thing was? Eddie Hearn actually came up to me after, and he was like, he was buzzing with it because Crocker and Donovan were a bit subdued. He was expecting that to be a wee bit more like hang, and he was like, you sort of stole the show there, because I was expecting Crocker and Donovan, but they were very respectful. So, it was good, mate. Do you know what? But like, when you're fighting on these shows, you have to do stuff like that. You have to catch people's attention, like, because you're on them platforms, and listen, you hear everybody say it. The mic comes around to them at a press conference and go, best camp in my life, can't wait to fight, and that's it. So you have to steal the show. Do
you have, say, a business head on you when it comes to stuff like that, and promoting and marketing, where right here, there's an opportunity here to kind of seize the moment, or an opportunity here to headline yourself, or put yourself out there? Would you go into a press conference thinking that, or is it just rolls off the tongue?
No, I mean, it's just like that just rolls off the tongue. But at the same time, you obviously know that, like, fighters fight there's fighters that fought in the Olympics and fight their whole careers that don't get on them platforms. So when you're there, you have to make the most of it. So you do, you definitely do. And like, nothing's ever like that. That wasn't like orchestrated.
Yeah,
that just happened. You know what I mean? It was like, and I think that's our personalities, like, sort of gel well together. When we're sort of going back and forth, like, we're just, I think if me and him were fight 100 times, it would be fun. You know what I mean? Because just the two people we are. See
the Eddie Hearn like moment. I'm coming up to speak to you. I'd say, like, when you first joined that Belfast Boxing Academy, and like in Belfast met, you never thought that you would probably be in the same conversation or be sitting speaking to probably the most well-known person in boxing, just in terms of like promoters and organisers. What's it like even speaking to someone like that there? He's fucking, because he knows who you are and he knows what you're about, and kind of the performance and stuff like that there. You're trying to put on a show. What's that like for yourself? It's mad, mate. It's like, again, like, as you said there, like, you're thinking back, like, if you had told me back then, I would have laughed at you. It's mad. I actually remember the last fight. It was mad. I had Rudy on the ropes, and I like hit him 2 shots, and then he held me. But his back was against the ropes, and I was facing out of the ring. But I remember when he held me, I looked down, and Eddie stood up and started shadowboxing. He was like, telling me to work. He was like, work. And I was like, what the fuck? It's moments like that you'd be like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? But nah, mate, it's good, and I put, like, that's the sort of pinch me moments you have. But again, like, at the same time, like, you've also worked hard for it. You know, like, you're not there by chance. Like, nobody gets on them platforms just by chance. There's obviously a process, and I've had to work harder than most. Obviously, to get on them stages. So, although you sort of be like, "Frig, is this me?" But you're deserving of it too, because you've worked for it. Do you know what I mean? What do you think is kind of the biggest quality that you carry? May it be your discipline, your work ethic, being able to adapt to certain fights, like certain games, or even any other, just having the fucking courage to go out there in front of people and box. What do you think's your biggest like asset? I would say my work ethic, because I've always felt like I've been behind. Like when I first started boxing, I had my first fight in 2011. Like, I wasn't the most talented. Like, I wasn't. Like, there was kids better than me, or even like that show. Like, you look back in that show, you go, there's loads of kids, all Ireland champions on that show, but they don't box anymore. So it's like nobody can say that I don't. Like, that's one thing. Nobody, like, I work hard. So, and that's because I'm not as talented as them. So I have to make up for it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I always sort of had a thing where, like, there was 100%. There was people around me that were more talented than me, but I always just had in the back of my head that I'll
outlive these ones.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And
100%.
it's like, I was looking at it as a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even in the boxing academy, like the people that I boxed with then, I don't think there's many that still box now.
I think it went on.
Do you know
One
what I mean?
person who I do have a lot of respect for, because I remember when he first came out and first started boxing, is Rudy.
Yeah.
Just for what he's built himself and the kind of opportunities which he's given himself. Because I was like, I'm from North Belfast,
Yeah.
and I remember when he first came out and he was asking for sponsors and stuff like that. There, and not a lot of people would give him time because Rudy's like kind of like he's like a smick, he's like a hood. You know what I mean?
People don't like. He's that sort of person that people like. I think even for Rudy's probably in the same boat as me. He wasn't as talented, but he's worked hard.
He's worked hard.
Do you know what I mean? And look at him now. Like he's now the number one in Ireland essentially. Like, do you know what I mean? And as you said there, like people probably at the start didn't take him seriously. The same as me. Do you know what I mean? We're all like if you listen to them people, you're not doing anything in life really. Like you're not doing like if I had asked a few people around me when I was making the change from amateur to pro, I could have probably told you 99.9% of people would have said don't do it. And then where would that have got me then?
What made you turn pro? What was the?
It was just myself, mate. It was something I wanted to do, and I seen an opportunity to do it. It was in a pro setup, and I was surrounded by pros. I was training with pros. And I was sort of like, why would I not give it a go? Like, why can't I do it? You know, it was the same sort of thing as like, as everything. Like, why? Like, and especially now, like everybody's turning pro.
Yeah.
I sort of turned pro whenever it was still like it was still a bit of like an unknown quantity in Ireland to turn pro because there was obviously not as much shows. Now everybody's turning pro. But like, if you want to do it, why not? The worst that can happen is and you don't get on a show or you have a few fights and then you just pack it in and you say it's not for me. Do you know what I mean? So I just says friggin' I'm gonna give it a go.
One of my mates, Owen O'Neill, he's like he's fighting in Canada here. You know what I mean? The opportunity that he's got to actually go on, and I remember going to his first fight in the Davnish, and then I think he went on. I think I'm near sure it was 13-0 before he fought Dylan. And then that there, I was just like I remember in Rhodes, I was watching it. Like I got it up on my phone, me and her for walking through the old town, and seeing that there, and I was heartbroken just because I know how hard he does work, and he's put in. I think he's doing 2 sessions a day now at the minute. One with Dan Anderson, and then he's doing the High Rocks as well. Right. And fucking, I think he's going to go in, and I think he's going to hold a good account of himself. He's
looking well as well, because I know obviously he was, even his weight and all, you can see his weight and all's coming down. But Owen would have been in the same boat as me when Owen first started. People wouldn't have took him serious, do you know what I mean? And sure, look at him now, do you know what I mean? So, like that's what I'm saying. Like I said, like I have a boxing club full of kids, and I have kids come to me and say I want to be a pro or I want to go to the Olympics, and why would I tell them no? You can do anything. If I can do it, if I can get on all them stages, anybody can do it. Like that is the long and short of it. Like,
see the last fight there. The first fight that I watched that night was your fight.
Yeah, and
I would probably bar the main event. It was the most entertaining fight. Like it was like you were bouncing about, you were giving it to each other. How do you think that fight went for yourself?
Listen, do you know what it was like? I said this before. I knew I was half up against it. You know, I was coming off obviously a year layout. He had 2 championship fights in that time. I obviously had the whole stuff on my brain scan. That had a brain scan failed, and me and Rudy went to fight in August, and I got a phone call on the fight week saying your brain scan's failed. So that was why that fight was pulled in August. So that's what I'm saying. It was like, and then the weeks after that, I was being told I might not box again, and it was strange.
What was it like before that?
That was a strange. Like that was 3 or 4 months. Like I mean, I was being pulled everywhere, like neuropsychologists and MRIs and friggin' neurophysio, all this madness. Like I was going from all over Ireland to see people, and you were going to one person, and they were referring you to another, and like you were and they always obviously tell you the worst case scenario. And people, like I was going to people, and they were going, "Nah, you won't box again." And you sort of go from boxing being everything, you're going, "Fuck, like what am I going to do?" Do you know what I mean? Now, so like it was a bit weird, mate, because there was about 3 or 4 months there where I was going, like, what? I start having to prepare for something outside of boxing, like. So your mind comes off boxing. Yeah. Now I always train. I continued training in that time. I started training with Andy Lee at that stage as well. But it was just like, it was strange. And then I got an email one night, December. It was actually Tyrone's fight week down in Waterford. it was like a Thursday night. We were sitting in the hotel, and I just got an email through from the Boxing Board of Control at like 9 p.m. saying your license has been reinstated. And that's this me, mate. Like I just went straight in there at the big fight. Like I was just like, get me in now. If I probably should have took my time and built my way back in, and got active again and had a few fights, named it into a fight like that. But I don't. Like that's one thing about me. I've yet to turn down any opportunity, and why would I? You know what I mean? So
you're grateful for it, I'd say.
100%. So I jumped at the chance. So I knew getting into it, mate. He was coming off a good 8-round, a good 10-round fight, so he was fit for it. So I was just, and then he was telling people on the fight week that he was going to knock me out. And that's one thing. Like I was like, I'm known for being tough. He's not going to knock me out. But that plays in the back of your head. You know what I mean? You're going, fuck. Like what was playing in my head was the brain scan feeling. You're going, fuck. Is there something up here? Do you know what I mean? So, mate, I went in the fight, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for me, one thing that I have to learn is not getting involved in a fight too much. Like, I take a few punches, everything goes out the window, and I just want to fight. You know what I mean? Whereas, and Rudy boxed well that night. Do you know what I mean? He boxed well, and he boxed me, where I was trying to fight. And I think that's something that again comes of experience, and that's what I'm saying now. I'm managed by Mick, and we've put a plan in place. Like I know what I'm doing for the next 8 to 9 months, 10 months, and that's just to get active and get myself getting into these fights where I'm getting in with a real chance. Yeah, not getting in where people going like, Rudy's active, and do you know what I mean? So that's the plan now. Just get active and stay active, and then we'll look at them fights.
How did you deal with your first loss as a pro?
Mate, it was mad. It wasn't something. It's not. I've sort of buried it away. It's like it is what it is. Yeah. See, you can't change it. Like, what am I going to sit and worry about a loss for? Like, if I let a loss hold me back, I'll do nothing. Do you know what I mean? In boxing, really, like, and I think that, like, especially now, like, losses don't mean a lot because you look at some of these records of people, and you just need to go on the box rack and have a look, and they're fighting guys. They're maybe 10-0. 8-0, and every single one of their opponents have 20 max losses. Yeah, it's like, who are you fighting? And it's boxing's a business. These journeymen, when you sell your tickets to fight these journeymen, you're paying these journeymen to lose. So it's like, is it a fight really? Like, do you know what I mean? So I'd rather get into fights, like, and I've said that, like, I'd rather take 50-50 fights. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be involved in big shows. Taking 50-50 fights for obviously the right money, the right opportunity on the right shows, not just fighting anywhere. Yeah. Like, if it's the right opportunity, I'll take it. And that's what I'm saying, mate. Like, I'd rather be involved in good fights on big platforms and just pad my record on small hall shows. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
What's it like being surrounded, just the influence on you, being surrounded by elite, like, level fighters like Mick and Paddy and Sean and stuff like that there? Like, what's it like just being in that environment?
Again, mate, it comes down to, like, I've had to gain experience. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, all them, and you learn a lot. Like, me and Sean and Tyrone were training together with Pete. And then Pete, he moved away, and then I was training with Andy, obviously with Paddy. You had Joe Parker there, you had Ben Whitaker there. And then Mick's managing me, and then even in the gym over in Sheffield, you've Dalton Smith and all. Like, you're just, you have to sort of put yourself out there. And I've been blessed with working with world class coaches.
Unreal.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's because I've took the chance and put myself out there. I've said, frig it, like, and I think that's one thing. Like, I think people put a limit on themselves. Like, I can't work with him, or I can't associate with him. Do you know what I mean? But we're all just not, like, I find it's mad. People ask me, like, what's he like? What's he like? Like, we're all just normal people. We just box. You know what I mean? Like every boxer, like even Big Joe Parker, the first time I met him, like, I actually was looking, like, we were in a gym, we were doing S&C together, and I was looking around and looking for a camera. Because I was like, he can't be this nice. This was being recorded. Like, he was getting in the gym and talking to everyone. Like, I mean, old women, old people, like, and we're all just, like, we all just box, but we're normal people. Do you know what I mean?
These are all, like, I love having the boxers on just because they're good characters. You can have the crack, you can tell them, they can be serious, they can be funny, you know what I mean? It's just a way of it. I'm going to ask you about Pete just because he's coached so many elite level fighters and just he's seen it all, and then especially with his fun with Caine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd be class. So you're going away to watch her fight?
Yeah, I'm going to go over. So there's a girl actually from the gym fighting on the card, Tam. So I'm going to go and do a bit of a camp. It's more of a camp for me. I'm going to go and do a bit of training. We've got a gym and stuff sorted. So I'm going to go out, do a bit of training, and then go to the fight.
Where's this, in Texas or something?
New York.
New York?
New York, I know.
Me and the missus heading here I was there in December with my cousin, just drinking for 5 days. But me and the missus are going for Paddy's Day next year.
I was there for the Paddy's Day just passed there with Mick.
Do you go... we're on them wee lads, or the Dublin lads.
The TikTokers, Dara, Nasty, all them.
Like, how did you follow me? That's a...
New York, mate. No, do you know what happened? So me and Mick were walking up the road, and we actually, it's a mad story because you were like, how did that happen? We were walking up the road, and they were literally just walking down the road on the same thing, but like, I didn't really recognise them until it passed us, but they sort of stopped to speak to us.
Yeah.
And then they were like, once I sort of walked by, I was like, fuck, I recognise our faces. So Mick was he was over there with Kevin Cronin was fighting on, one of Mick's fighters was fighting on the Callum Walsh undercard. But Mick was there promoting the beer as well. And he was obviously looking, they were doing obviously content. So we all ended up meeting and they helped Mick with some content out there for his beer, to promote the beer. But literally from then on in, like we were there, I think me and Mick were there for 8 days. And they were there for like 5, but for the whole 5 days we just, because it's like Ireland, you're like, there's no Irish person, we just hung about. And then when we came back, it was a bit mad. There was a guy out there, Helm, he runs a social media app. He started sponsoring me, and then he sort of took us away on a few trips. And then we've just become, they're close mates now.
They're close mates now. Their content's class. Like,
do you know what, but mate, like, see even me being around them, I've learned a lot, like, about that side of things, how to make money on social media. It's mental. See the money that's available on social media, it's insane.
It's scary.
I've started YouTube because of it. Like,
have you?
I've started. I'm doing the vlogs just because literally I was like, I need to get on this. Like, I need to get on this. It's promoting
yourself as well. Like, it's especially in this day and age now. Yeah. Kids are watching YouTube. They're doing everything. They're doing everything online. It's actually scary now that how much time they actually are spending online. But then again, if you can make money off it as well,
100%.
It's great.
100%.
See with Pete Taylor. Yeah. Obviously he's coached many elite level fighters throughout Ireland. And that like developmental squad. What was it like training with him? And what did you learn of him? Or the best thing you've learned from him and the best thing you've learned from Andy Lee?
See Pete obviously, because he was an amateur coach, he is explaining and is teaching. Like, he can break something down to the most basic thing for you to get it. Yeah. And he obviously gets that because a lot of these pro coaches, you know, just go straight in and work with pros. They've been through an amateur club. Yeah. And like, some of the best coaches are in amateur clubs because they're having to teach kids. If you can teach it to a kid, you can teach it to anyone. So, like, just as explaining and his thought on boxing, like, you now know why Katie done so well, just being around him and his thought process on how fights should go and how they should play out. I actually learned a lot from Pete, just even in coaching myself, like how I would coach my amateurs and then how other coaches in my club sort of coach, like his ways of coaching. He comes from an Olympic sort of background, you know what I mean? It's very, very good. And then even look, he works with Sean. Look at Sean. Like, Sean was robbed against Barboza. But is just his mindset, like, just to pick his brain and be around him and have him coach you, like, he's a wealth of knowledge, like. A wealth of knowledge.
Andy Lee.
Andy as well, like, same thing, like, that's what I'm saying, like, even you saying them, like, me working with the both of them, it's been mental. But Andy's very good. He comes obviously from that Kronk style. The American style, and then he obviously trained under Adam Booth, and he sort of mixes the two styles together. But two things Andy's very good at is like basics. Like, boxing isn't fancy. Like, it's 6 punches. People like
try to overcomplicate it.
Overcomplicate it. Like, there would be times you were training with Andy and you were just literally working on a jab and a left hook, and you were just breaking it down and where your body weight should be, where your head should be. But the one thing that stands out about Andy, mate, is how he makes a personal connection with you. Like it just even, like, how he sort of, like, the mental side of it, he's very, very good with that and making his fighters believe in themselves. and then obviously coached with his sort of boxing ethos and what he sort of made a mix of the booth style and the crank style. And yeah, mate, like even again, like through the coaches that I've worked with, like it's great that I have like the knowledge of just what they all think, and I can sort of put it together myself.
Do you take wee bits and bobs from each person, that even if you're say training with Paddy or training with Mick, and you're taking wee bits and bobs from that there? Who'd be the hardest person you've sparred in the likes of camp?
I sparred Jazza Dickens last. He was trained by Peyton. Jazza, he actually beat Zalfa Bart there in February. He's actually fighting here, I think, next week for a world title. Jazza's been around a long, long time. He fought Rigondo as well. He was just
wealth of experience.
So do you know what the thing was about Jazza? So he was in the gym, and he was the latest in the gym before I came. So he was sparring Gary Cully and Sean McComb every day. He was a featherweight. Yeah. So when I came, I was the latest. So he was so he now can spar me, and I learned a lot even just sparring Jazza, like just the levels. Yeah. Just the levels in where you are and what you're used to, and then even just like sharpness and power. But he would definitely be the hardest person I've sparred.
Would you have sparred with Conor Quinn much? Yeah. In the early days,
yeah. Me and Conor sparred a lot. Like
how fast and powerful is he?
He's very fast and powerful. Do you know what? You don't think it. Watching him, you sort of, he's deceiving because you watch him and the way he sort of shadow boxes and stuff. And then you spar him, it's a different story. Like, friggin' hell, like that's me. It was me, him, and Colin Murphy. Like, we were the three just used to spar each other. Like, and again, us three sparring each other at the very start of my pro career for the first year, 2 years. Like, that's again something that brought me on a lot. Do you know what I mean? Just
hardened you.
Yeah. Just again, like experience, like having, like even because Conor Quinn was a very, very good amateur, and just again, like being like you're sort of. I felt like my whole career I've been trying to fast track myself, do you know, that way? Like always just put myself out there, work with the best coaches, put myself in the best environment, spar the best people just to gain them percents that I've missed out on. Do you know, through a lack of like coaching as a younger kid.
We touched on there briefly just about Mick's now managing you and you know what you're going to be doing the next 6 to 9 months. What is the kind of long-term vision with Mick? And what are you expecting out of the next, say, not even 9 months, next 2 to 3 years?
The minute, mate, it's like that. Then the first priority was to be active. Like that was the number one. Like just get active again, because obviously I'm coming off. Like again, as you said, like the first 10 months I had 4 or 5 fights as a pro. My first year I had 5 fights. So to go then from having that to then within 2 years only having 1 fight, it's like obviously right. We need to get back that activity again. And pro boxing is just about. Like everything I was learning in the gym, I couldn't then put into practice because I wasn't fighting. So now just putting everything into practice under the lights. It's different in sparring. Every boxer will tell you that sparring and fighting is 2 completely different things. So I think now just building on activity and then aiming towards titles. And we have a few routes we're sort of looking at going down. And that's what I'm saying, mate. Like, I think that it's the first time in my career that I've had a plan. And I know for the next 9 months what I'm doing. Like I can, after this fight, I can tell you when I'm out again. After that fight, I can tell you when I'm out again. So,
how much times you plan on fighting in the next year?
I want to be back for. Well, I know even by the end of the year it'll be twice. Twice, but by the end of the year. Now it was meant to be 3, but obviously a few of the cards have been pushed back. So, twice by the end of the year. Get the activity going again, and even 1 early next year, and then start seeing what we're going to build towards then.
Unreal. A question that I was asked a few times when I put up that thing. I've just asked them who I've been going through, but I think you know where.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, Burnsy. Is the beef with Burnsy real?
The beef with Burnsy was real, but it's over now. He's mates with me again. I had to come out and apologise. I called him out a few weeks ago. I had enough of him saying about the. He's probably going to fall out with me over saying his name on this podcast. He says, "Don't be mentioning my name on any podcast," but. He fell out with me, and then I called him out, and he hated me, and then I've apologised, so we're all good now. I have I'm in Burnsy's good books for the meantime.
Is Mick in his good books?
I got Mick in his good books. He hated Mick, and then I sat Burnsy down and talked him through it, and him and Mick are all right now.
The grand.
Yeah, Mick tried to do the same for me, but he wasn't having it, so we got. I think it was I haven't done TikTok live, mate, and he was on. and somebody brought me in and just every time, you know what he was doing? Every time I was coming in, he was blocking me right away.
Yeah.
But there was one night he was in good form, and he just was talking to me, and then that was it. He says, "You have to do an apology video." And he says, "Right," and then he texts me the next morning. He says, "If you don't have this apology video done within 24 hours, you're finished." He says, "Right, it's gone out. So I got the phone up, got it out. So, so he was buzzing. So we're mates again, and he's gonna smash up his next opponent, Roberto Pancake Face and Robert Loosley. He's nuts.
Do you think he'll be down to watch you in your next
I probably will. He doesn't miss anything. Burnsy's my co-manager. Burnsy's the co-manager. Him and Mick are working together. That's what. So that's what I'm saying. Eddie Hearn's going to have to deal with.
Does Eddie Hearn know who he is?
Mate, he tried to kick Eddie Hearn at the launch press conference. So he did. So what happened was he was with me. So he came down with me, right? He actually didn't come down with me. He came down on his own. But so I went in to go and do the press conference. And there was like a bar that separated obviously like the media and then the general people. So he was at the bar and he said, "The security man, I'm with him." And the security man says, "You're not. You have to stay here." So he's obviously took this thing and went, "It's Eddie Hearn's fault. Eddie Hearn's up there and he won't let me in." So he says Eddie Hearn was walking out. He swung a kick at him. But I think Eddie Hearn knows who he is. Because Eddie Hearn, I seen him and Eddie Hearn sort of laughed. But Eddie Hearn 100% knows who Conor Burns is. 100%.
That's incredible.
That's mad.
That's insane.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know where you stand with Burnsy. Like, you really don't. Like, he turns on. Like, that's one thing. Like, I remember Paddy Barnes used to tell me, "Gerard, because for about 3 years, he never fell out with me." And Paddy Barnes says, "Gerard, trust me, you're going to wake up one morning, he's going to hate you." And here, it happened. And I'm telling you now, it was like having 100 people on the top of you. It was constant. It was on TikTok live. People were sending me things. He was doing videos. He was doing it. He was sending text messages out. I was like, "This is hectic. This is hectic."
He's mad.
But you want to be on Burnsy's good side. You want to be on Burnsy's good side.
100%. Well, brother, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate that there.
100%. Lads and Caine.